From the locker rooms to the fields of play, from the passion and rivalries to the championship seasons, get inside, get in depth with the newsmakers who shape sports here in the Lehigh Valley. Welcome to Calling All Sports with Keith Groller, brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, a passion for better medicine.
On May 26th, it's the Freddie Awards, which salutes and honors the best of the high school theatrical productions. The night before, May 25th at the Steel Stacks, the very best of the high school sports season will be saluted. We're going to talk about it next. The Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year program on Calling All Sports. Stay with us.
At Lehigh Valley Health Network, we know there are no routine surgeries. Each one requires a team to work at its best, every procedure, every day. When you're the one facing surgery, it's good to know you're in the hands of someone who has done this many, many times before. Last year, our network performed 70% more surgeries than anyone else in our region. The fact is, the more you do, the better you are.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Calling All Sports. My name is Keith Groller. So happy you're spending part of your night with us as we celebrate, salute past award winners, and talk about what's coming up this year on May the 25th. It's a big, big night in local sports. It's the third annual Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year banquet at Steel Stacks over there on the south side of Bethlehem. Beautiful venue. And here to help us talk about what the program is all about, past winners to my far right, Amber Thomas from Northern Lehigh High School. Amber, softball player now at Drexel University, was our 2015 winner. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you.
Great to see you again. Of course, the guy right here, if you are from Catasauqua, you know that face. You know one of the most special athletes in that school's proud history, the great Zach Bradley. You're going to pay me for that intro, right?
Absolutely.
No, he's the record breaker, like unbelievable. I know Mike Riekers thinks he was still the best quarterback in Caddy history, but I might vote for you. I'm going to, do you know Mr. Riekers?
Absolutely. We'll let him think that. We'll let him think that.
But, yeah. But great to have you back. You were our first winner in 2014, correct?
Yes, sir. Then thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. And Florence Brown from Coordinated Health, welcome to our show, Florence. And tell us, before we get to the past honorees, tell us what the program is all about, the Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year program.
Sure. Every year, Coordinated Health selects, the Morning Call and Coordinated Health select the week's top 3 athletes for each of the seasons, fall, spring, and winter. And then the entire community gets to vote. So each week we've received over 1,000 votes. At the end of the school year, we select an Athlete of the Year based on a 3-part vote. That includes the popular vote, which is the community voting, the Morning Call editorial staff contributes, and the Coordinated Health leadership team. So at the end of all that, we select our great winners, and obviously Amber and Zach have received that $10,000 scholarship before. Really proud.
The fan voting, we should, that's one of the reasons we wanted you on this particular week. We want to say that the campaign, the fan voting portion of the process is underway right now. That's
right. So we just opened the polls only about 12 hours ago, and it's already off to a great start. Just in the past 12 hours alone, we've received over 2,000 votes, so that's a huge deal. If we keep up that pace, we can expect to receive well into the tens of thousands by the end of the week. But it's very exciting to see that the athletes are super engaged. They love being involved and sharing the contest with their family. So
well, I've just learned recently that you're from San Francisco, but you're here 5 years, and I think you've come to appreciate in that period of time how much we care, how much pride we have in our local athletes. It's a big deal on a Friday night to see a football game at one of the many venues here in the Lehigh Valley. Softball, which Amber was a part of, attracts big crowds over at Pates Park, especially during the playoffs. So you've come, I think, Flo, you've come to appreciate what this is all about here.
There's nothing like it. California is very proud of a lot of different things, and their high school students excel in things like the arts and in even marching band, minor things like that. But the athletics and the emphasis on community involvement in athletics and how early kids get involved is just very impressive. And I'm super proud to be here with Amber and Zach, because they really embody everything that is the Lehigh Valley athletic scene. You know, they're smart, they're academic, they were great leaders in their high school years as well as in college, and both have gone on to do incredible things. So they really are kind of the you know, the model for everything we want to honor at Coordinated Health.
What I like is, I mean, we have a great athlete like Zach and Amber, but we're looking at the classroom, we're looking at the community, we're looking at maybe some adversity they might have overcome or whatever. It's a whole composite that we're looking for as in the Athlete of the Year, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I've mentioned this to each of the athletes that we've met over the years, but every single one of them could be an Athlete of the Year. There's not a single student we've met who wouldn't qualify for all three of those things. And you being on the editorial staff at the Morning Call, you've seen every one of these kids as well and have seen them grow up. And that's why we find it so great to have the partnership with the Morning Call, because if anyone knows local sports, it's you guys. So we appreciate
that.
Let
me tell you, it's even tough to come up with nominees. I mean, not tough to come up with them. It's tough to narrow them down to 3 every week, which is I could come up. Ernie Long, who was our sports guy there, you know, he asked for nominees. I could give him 5 every week because there's such great performances across the sports landscape. Amber, wanted to talk about what this award meant to you last year. A great career at Northern Lehigh High School, very proud school. Yeah. These are 2 Colonial League athletes, by the way. Yeah. And it seems like there's a tight-knit bond there at the Colonial League level. But talk about what this award meant to you back last year.
Yeah, I actually, at the Coordinated Health Banquet, as soon as they rolled the clip of me winning, I was just like, so many emotions flooded through me. I was so surprised and so also happy that all of my hard work had finally paid off. And it was not only a validation of my hard work and all that I've done throughout the years, practices, long hours of training and practicing, but it's also good to know that other people recognize that. And it's great to get the award and then also just have that on your side as like a proof, like say, hey, I worked really hard and I'm really proud of myself, and other people are too.
Well, while you were winning that award over at Steel Stacks last year, I missed the banquet because I was emceeing a softball awards program at Page Park, and you were like mentioned 6 times that night. You won this scholarship and that scholarship. But look, I mean, all these awards are great. Obviously, you found the time to get it done athletically and academically, and you've overcome some maybe, I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things you've overcome in recent years.
Sure. I suffered a stroke when I was 13. And at that point, it was all like, what am I going to do? What is this going to affect me? Am I not going to be able to do the things that I love anymore? And thank goodness I fully recovered from that. I have no residual anything from that. And then just as soon as that week in the hospital was over, I was like, when can I get back on the softball field? When am I ready to go back, play sports? I need to. This is what I do. Without that, what am I supposed to do? So, and then with my cyst in my tibia, again, same thing, just the downtime, it kills an athlete. I know any athlete that's suffered an injury knows when you're in that downtime, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm missing my other half. But yeah.
And also add in the fact that your father was battling cancer through this whole period, and we lost him a couple months ago. And talk about your dad a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
My dad, I don't know if I can say enough in this amount of time. He helped not only me, but everyone in the community. He had no hesitation to help anyone that asked for help, anybody that wanted help. He was ready to give help. Without him, I don't think I would have ever maybe even started softball or basketball or done any sports that I ever did. And yeah, he was tough on me. He was riding me the whole time, making me work. And even when I didn't want to, he would make me go out in the backyard and throw and pitch and hit. But without that, I don't think I would be where I am today.
Well, I got to speak with him, and I know how proud he was of all your accomplishments. I got to talk to him at Patriots Park, which is the mecca for softball, and he was very, very proud of all your accomplishments, very proud of you as a daughter. So I know he's smiling down at you right now, and we'll never forget him up there in that great Northern Lehigh community.
Thank you.
Mr. Bradley, you're never going to be forgotten in Catasauqua. Talk about what the 2014, the first one, and I was there that night, what that 2014 honor meant to you.
You know what, it means the world, and like I said yesterday on your radio show, it's not just the money. I mean, I go to a school at $66,000 a year, so that's not even paying for one semester. So, but the biggest thing is the connections I made. I mean, I'm wearing the name tag right now. I'm working at Coordinated Health right now, and they're setting up opportunities for me in the future that wouldn't have been there prior to. And I just think, I like to stress this, is just how great of a company and how great of an organization people are at Coordinated Health, and how awesome they work together, and how great their sort of community is within their building. Like, I work in their headquarters, and just the people, like all different types of people working together, it's just awesome to see. And it really is everything that I thought it was going to be, and I thought it was going to be looking at it through rose-colored glasses because they gave me a $10,000 scholarship, and I like that, whatever. But overall, everything's matched my expectations, and they are just wonderful people. And I think that's the biggest thing about the award. And the other thing is just representing the Valley. Like, I've always taken so much pride in where I'm from and how I conduct myself on a daily basis, and a lot of that has to do with the core values that the Valley has. You know, Bethlehem Steel, hardworking people who are like blue collar workers who are in towns and who work and play for their town, not for themselves. And that's something that I tried to embody my entire life, and I think that shined in winning this award, and that also meant a lot to me.
Well, just like her father in the Northern Lehigh community, very proud of Amber. Everybody in Caddy, I'm sure, was congratulating you. That was a big moment. That was, as we said on radio, hey, that is a tight-knit town. Everybody knows everybody. There's a great tradition there. Larry Miller, yep. Jonathan Linton, Pat Kelly, Anthony Recker, people who've gone on to big-time success. And even Stacy Parkovitz, who was a part of a state championship girls basketball team, has her own practice now and on the Jersey Shore. A lot of pride. Everybody knows those names, yep. And you're now a part of that whole legacy there. It has to be a great feeling for you.
It's amazing because you grow up and you do hear those names over and over again, and that's just how Caddy works. You know, you get trained to think a certain way at Caddy, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. So, I mean, I'm very proud to be able to even be associated with those names, because people want them to do great things, and more than probably I'll ever do. But I just want to make the town proud in a way not close to what they did, just in a way to revive the town in football, because that town loves football. So bring back football to that town, and that just makes everything better in the town. Just like winning makes everything better in that town because everyone's so involved in the sports.
How shocked were you when you were revealed as the winner back in 2014?
I was real shocked, except I remember Coach Falzone telling me, "Hey, you better get a speech together just in case you win." And when he was there,
like the seed, maybe.
He was there. My principal was there. Like, there was a lot of people there, and I saw the other people, and they only had like one person there. So I was like, maybe, I don't know. But when I got it, it was just an amazing feeling. Once the video ran, I'd never felt that like emotional in my entire life, and like not in like a sad or like happy, with just like a weird kind of like, it's not real, you know, like it's not real, but it was an awesome feeling, and it was just awesome to be recognized for what I put so much work into.
Well, I was there that night. It was a great honor to write the story. That first athlete I've done many stories, and always to be the first of anything, the first athlete of the year honoree. That was a great thrill for me, and I know we posed for selfies. Were hot at that particular time. We did a selfie that night. So. Anyway, who knows, maybe I'll get to do a selfie with this year's winner. Flo, you going to allow that?
Absolutely. Right. Don't forget Amanda Beard.
We got to talk about, she's number one on the list that night. All right, we're going to talk more about the Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year banquet coming up. We're also going to find out what both Amber and Zach are doing at their various schools. Continue with us as we go on forward here with Calling All Sports, talking about the Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year. Stay with us.
At Lehigh Valley Health Network, we know there are no routine surgeries. Each one requires a team to work at its best, every procedure, every day. When you're the one facing surgery, it's good to know you're in the hands of someone who has done this many times before. Last year, our network performed 70% more surgeries than anyone else in our region. The fact is, the more you do, the better you are.
And welcome back to Calling All Sports. Again, Keith Groller with you. and we're talking about the Coordinated Health Athlete of the Year banquet coming up May 25th at the Steel Stacks. To my immediate right, Florence Brown from Coordinated Health. What's your official title? I always forget your official title.
Digital marketing and public relations, which are surprisingly having a lot of crossover these days.
And the man in the middle there, of course, the great Zach Bradley from Catasauqua High School, and on my far right, Amber Thomas. Go back to you, Flo. Talk about some of the. It's a tough deal to stage this kind of an affair, but I know that Coordinated Health takes a lot of pride in the whole event, and part of it is a great speaker. 2 years ago, Andre Reed, just like a month or so before he went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he was the speaker. Yep. Last year, Henry Heinowski, who is from Southern Columbia up there and in the heart of the Anthracite area, a state champ, and then a Super Bowl champ. And then this year we're going to go a little bit differently. We're going to get away from football. We're going to go to Olympian swimmer Amanda Beer. Tell us about that a little bit.
It was exciting to select an athlete of the year speaker this year because we knew we wanted to go with a female, and there were a lot of names thrown around as high as Mia Hamm and as local as your recommendation, which was
Michelle Marciniak.
Yes. And so we had a lot of options, and what it came down to really was someone who understood healthcare and what we try to achieve when we are supporting athletes. And Amanda Beard in particular has gone through health challenges herself. She struggled with bulimia, anxiety. She was a young Olympian. I think she was only 14 in her first Olympic run. So we really wanted to pick someone who understood the struggles of a teenage athlete, and who better than her. She's also just a wonderfully kind person. She travels around the country doing speeches very similar to what she'll be doing for us, and she just nails all of the characteristics that we were looking for in a speaker. Good
timing. Sports is nothing but great timing, and the Olympics coming up from Rio this summer. Great get to have Amanda. I know some media could be looking forward to asking her about our chances in Rio this summer. So
she's actually doing a lot of press at this very moment, traveling around the country, speaking about the Olympics, and she's still very passionate about it. In fact, she wrote a book specifically about her experiences in the Olympics called Under the Water They Can't See You Cry, something similar to that. But essentially it talks about what it means to grow up as a competitive athlete and all the challenges that go into having to be in the spotlight regularly, which our athletes can absolutely identify with, because they too, from the moment that they become athletes, are constantly under the media's eye, their parents' eye. There's a lot of pressure there. So we thought she would be a great fit to talk with these kids. And also, I mean, how fun as an athlete at this event to be able to take a selfie with an Olympian. I mean, it's very cool to have these celebrity athletes each year.
That's a great. Congratulations to you, because I think you were primarily responsible for the guest speaker, and
we have
you hit it out of the park this year.
It's totally a team effort, and in fact, of the 9 marketing people at Coordinated Health, I can't tell you how much each of them pours their blood, sweat, and tears into this event. A lot of it really comes down to just making sure that every moment is accounted for. And you know that going through the, you've been involved with the Freddies too, and you know that the staging of people, where they are walking, and how we announce the winners is such a huge deal. And every year, my favorite moment of the banquet is like being as close as I can to the athlete, because I always know in advance. And I always want to be there to see the reaction on their faces, because the moment that you realize you're going to win $10,000 and have this 1 year long reign as that winner is priceless.
You know it in advance, but great restraint on your part. Hey, you're going to win 10 grand tonight.
Yeah, and that's actually this year in particular, as well as last year when Amber was our athlete of the year. We selected using partially a popularity vote. That was a brand new element that was introduced last year, and this year it's already off to a huge start, as I mentioned. But the reason that it's so interesting is that people often felt locked out of the process of the scholarship program. They thought, oh, there goes the morning call on Coordinated Health selecting the athlete, and I can't get involved and my kid can't win. But what it came down to was, once we've chosen the elite, it's up to the community to help us decide. And so we've already started to have conversations between our team and yours, but we also have to look at this amazing voting tool and see like what the community is saying, and really take into account what they believe.
Right. Well, yeah, it's good. There's many layers to this thing, because the morning call would be accused of, oh, you've always liked that school or that, that team or whatever. We get hit with that all the time. Amber, want to get your thoughts on where you're at right now. You're completing your freshman year at Drexel University. How are things going for you?
They're going good. Drexel, like any college, is difficult, especially as a freshman, tackling time management, and especially if you're playing a sport or if you're doing any extracurriculars besides your classwork, it's difficult. I struggled with a little bit of time management early in the year, but I got on top of it. I play for the club softball team at Drexel because my major is so demanding, so that's less time restraint for me, but I really enjoy my classes. Drexel is different from most schools, I want to say. That's what we get on our shirts. Drexel is different, but we take classes that not a lot of other kids my age are taking. So they immerse us into engineering and into the heart of what you're going to be doing in the workforce right away. And like, I'm not sure if people know, but Drexel is co-op. So next year already, I will be out in the workforce and I will be in the real world. And it's a little scary at this point, but it's going to be super worth it for me in the long run. And it was amazing to have backing from Coordinated Health, have that scholarship help me transition into college as easily as possible. That really just made it that much smoother to know I had a little bit of financial stability going into college and I can work and not worry about how I'm going to pay for it as much, just worry about doing well and getting the good grades. So.
What's your major again?
Biomedical engineering.
As I said to her before, I can't even spell that, and she's majoring in it. You're an amazing person, Amber. I'll tell you what. How do you like Philadelphia?
Oh, I love Philly. Philly is, I grew up not in Philly, obviously, I'm from Lehigh Valley, but Philly, ever since being a diehard Flyers fan, going into the city for Flyers games, going into the city for Phillies games, going in for anything and everything I could get an excuse to go into the city for, I just loved it. And now that I get to live there and be so close to all the things you can do, you're never bored. You're never like, what am I going to do this weekend? There's nowhere to be. I'm in the middle of nowhere. So it was weird transitioning from Slatington, from being such a small town to such a big city town, but I love it. I love Philly. There's really, in my opinion, no better place to be as a college student.
Flyers going to bounce back. They made it to the playoffs this year. You think
I
they're going
hope so.
to bigger, better things next year?
Yeah, I hope so. I was there for that last game they lost, so unfortunately they lost, but always rooting for the Flyers, always rooting for the Broad
That's your number
Street
one
Boys.
team?
Oh, absolutely.
Terrific, terrific. Zach, F&M, you're a diplomat. Tell us about it.
I love every minute of college, and I was actually like I have an apartment there all summer, so I'm going to be down there all summer when I can too. I might have to argue with Amber. I think Lancaster, Pennsylvania is the best place to be for college, but no, my major is going great. I made all Centennial Conference academic team, Dean's List every semester, Delphic Society, so all the academic stuff, it's there, you name it. Right now I have a double major, so I'll have two majors when I graduate, one in government pre-law and another in anthropology, and then a minor in Spanish. So I have a lot of workload, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Might as well get the most out of my college experience while I'm there.
How's the football going?
Yeah, this was just going to get to that. Football is going great. I started in a plethora of games from freshman year to sophomore year. You know, mixing in there. There's a starting quarterback. I still got a lot of starts, still got a lot of playing time for a younger player in college. And so now this year's a big step for me, and I worked real hard in the spring. I got like the Iron Dip Award, which is like a lifting award for like working real hard in the spring or whatever. So I'm doing everything I can to put myself in a position to compete, and there's me and another guy, and this is going to have to come down to who does better. But you know what? I've never shied away from competition, and I'm really looking forward to competing in the fall. I mean, I love the team. I made such good friends, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I don't know, they're going to get an opportunity to speak at the banquet.
Yes.
If you could give advice to not only maybe the seniors who are going to be in the room that night, but also the kids who are sophomores, juniors, have a couple years to go. Yeah. What advice would you give them?
And as to picking a college,
as to high school athletics,
high school
experience.
Athletics. In high school athletics, my biggest thing would be worry about the things that are important to you. I mean, I think a lot of people lose sight of that, and they listen to what other people are telling them and what other people think they should do instead of, I mean, I played 3 sports my whole career, and everyone's always telling me, you know, if you want to do that, if you want to make it big, if you want to do this, you have to play one sport. You have to do one sport all year round. And I really just don't think that that's true. I think you got to play a multiple number of sports and be a well-rounded person. I think that's the biggest thing, is that people get so locked into one thing that they don't become a well-rounded person. And that's really just, in the real world, that's the most important thing everywhere, is being a well-rounded person, connecting with different types of people. You know, hang out with people that are in the band, hang out with people who are in the choir, hang out with people who are on the debate team, whatever. You need to be a person who can interact with different people, because that's what makes you successful in today's day and age. And I mean, it's helped me so much going into college and being in the real world and just connecting with different people. You can't create that barrier and make yourself, this is me, this is them, this is me, this is them. You have to say, I can get along with everyone, even if I don't agree with them. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amber?
I absolutely agree with what you just said. I think, especially us coming from smaller schools, if you don't play more than one sport, then your sports teams, first of all, aren't going to thrive. You need to be on more than one team because there just aren't enough people in the school district. And also, coming from that, you learn not from one sport, you might learn one aspect of team relations or one aspect of what later in life is going to be. But when you play multiple sports and you're on multiple clubs and you're involved academically, socially, and athletically, you get such a well-rounded lifestyle, and you learn so much more than if you're just an athlete.
Well, so many kids tell me that if they had to do it all over again, they would enjoy high school more because it's fun, it's with your friends, it's with the people you grew up with. When it gets to college, whether it's Drexel, F&M, Stanford, UCLA, whatever, Penn State, it becomes more of a business or a job. And I think you got the most out of your high school experience, did you not, Amber?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't trade my high school experience for anything. A lot of people are like, oh, but you went to such a small school, you only graduated 125. I wouldn't trade that for anything. I knew everyone in my graduating class. I knew all of them. I was friends with a lot of them. So I feel that those relationships that I made in high school were some of the best relationships I've made in my life. And now moving on to college, it's just different. You don't get to touch as many people on campus as you do when you're at a school.
I think it's a weird relationship, you know, high school and college. It's a real weird relationship, but I don't think we should focus on either one. I think you should focus on where you're at that time. So I had a wonderful high school experience.
And you're having a wonderful college
And I'm
experience.
having an amazing college experience. So what I'm trying to say is take it one step at a time, enjoy every step of your life, but I wouldn't go back if I had the chance, because I'm having a great time now too.
Yeah, that's a good
so
point.
I think you just got to enjoy it all. But I mean, you definitely have to enjoy high school.
My only point is sometimes people are so worried about that college scholarship. They're
should
so
never be.
worried about, you know, where am I going to be in 3-4 years? Enjoy your high school time.
It sells itself
you know,
down too. It really does.
Because you're going to go down as one of the greats in caddy history, and that you never can take that away. Never.
Well, I mean, and that's not even the most important part. I mean, it's awesome to do that, but it's just what I did set me up to go to a top 50 school in the nation and do all that stuff. And I think that's just what's important. It's just don't focus on college. I mean, yeah, it's important. Focus on making yourself the best human being you possibly can in high school.
Great. You can tell why they're winners. Flo, we got to run, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you on May the 25th.
Thanks for having us.
Zach, we'll see you again on May
We'll see you
25th, and
then.
you as well.
Yep.
You can see why they're the athletes of the year in the past. We're going to have a great honoree for you on May the 25th at the Steel Stacks. Until then, we'll see you. Be well, be happy, and we'll see you again on Calling All Sports. Goodbye, everybody.